Hello class, it's Dr. T again. This time I'd like to go over the Teaching Strategies Fair itself, how you would set up your tables, what you should bring, and what to expect. It should be a fun experience for all. I think you're going to enjoy it. We're going to have lots of people there and lots of activities. So let's start with the guideline. This is in the course. You're going to be presenting your toolbox portfolio at the fair next Wednesday, which is September 4th. That's the last evening of the course. The good news is you're all done with the course after this Teaching Strategies Fair. You will each have an individual assigned table where you can organize and present your teaching toolbox, binder, and other items that you're going to have on that table. Make sure you identify 3 learner objectives for the learner who visits your table. What do you expect the people who come to your table to learn? Don't make it too high level. Remember, they're just visiting. You don't have them in a classroom. So what could they get out of coming to your table? Identify 3 clear learner objectives. Please put them at your table. You will be expected to put your 3-ring binder at the table, and then on the table you will have 6 creative and meaningful sample materials that demonstrate your abilities as creating teaching strategies. So you're going to have an interactive learning plan for the strategy, and then you're going to have a sample with that interactive learning plan. So if the interactive learning plan says that you're going to do role playing, perhaps you'd have the directions for the role playing next to it. You might even have a picture of students doing role playing. Let's say your interactive learning plan was for them to do a debate. Maybe you would have as the sample a description of the rules of the debate. If it was about using children's stories with students, maybe you'd have a storybook that would be an example of it. So you have to have some palpable, tangible, I can pick it up, somebody could touch it, symbol or example is a better term, example for your teaching strategy that you've identified. So you have 6 of them. They do not need to be new strategies. They can be strategies that are in your book. As I shared with you in class, I would encourage you to not take them out of your book, however. Make other copies so that you don't have to worry about putting them back in the book and being sure you don't miss something. Students have actually done that and then lost points because they didn't have the material in the book. So make sure you have your book all together, you take nothing out of it, and on the table you have copies of your 6 creative, interactive teaching plans. For each teaching plan, you have a sample demonstrating what it is that you want to do with that teaching plan. Now, of those 6, you must showcase one, and you must have it set up such that the visitor to your table can actually engage with something related to that teaching learning plan that you have. So if you were showcasing a particular kind of game, competency-based game that you were doing with your students, then you would have the participant who comes to your table actually try to answer some of those questions. It can also be a hands-on kind of thing. It can be whatever you want it to be. It just has to be something that you make sure you are interacting with your visitor and that they are actually interacting with that learning strategy. You're going to have a one-page handout for your visitors. Please, this does not have the objectives on it. This is a meaningful handout that should reflect and provide to your visitors some kind of take-home message about interactive student-centered teaching learning strategies. I did caution you not to make too many of these handouts because I don't want you to have to spend money on it. Have enough to show people, but not so many that you are sorry you printed them all off. Be prepared to talk with those coming to your toolbox table and dialogue with them about what you're showing them. It's sort of like you're presenting to the people who come to your table. Be sure you're dressed professionally and as if you were going to a professional conference. A reminder that you're not using poster boards of any kind on this table. It's all on the table. You're not using poster boards. Sometimes students wish to have a laptop computer because they want to show their visitors something on the computer. That's perfectly fine. If that is the case, would you please contact Brenda Mutton or Chris Lee, or better yet, contact both of them, and just let them know that your table needs to be near an outlet, and they'll be sure to set up your table to be near an outlet. So that's the broad view of the Teaching Toolbox Fair. You're going to come, you're going to have all your materials with it. It starts at 5 p.m. for us because we have to set it up. The visitors who are coming understand that they come from 6 to 8. Then we shut it down about 8 o'clock and we clean up and we do a little bit of reflecting on all that you've learned. I'm just going to quickly go over the grading rubric again on this to make sure that you understand everything you're supposed to do for the Teaching Strategies Fair and your table. Let me get this to load. We go, and I'm going to go to the grading rubric, and it's pretty much what I just said, but just to go over it again with you to make sure you have all your questions answered. Okay, so you're going to have your binder there. Look over the grading rubric, class. You're going to identify learner objectives for your table, not for learners in your class, but this is for your audience who comes to your table. You're going to have a one-page handout, and you're going to have 6 creative, interactive, and meaningful sample materials demonstrating 6 different teaching strategies. You're going to have the interactive plans there. You're going to take one of those teaching strategies and showcase it and make sure that it has an activity that the visitor can actually participate in. And the table itself, you want to be creative, visually appealing, dynamic, and engaging for the audience. That's it. It's that simple. You should have fun with that. Now, on Wednesday is the Teaching Strategies Fair. That's September 4th. Remember, I'll just reinforce. You come at 5 o'clock. It's over at the Cultural Life Center. The best place to park is behind the church and then walk over behind the Cultural Life Center. You'll enter that entrance, which actually goes to the second floor. And I believe we're in room 219, but it'll be very obvious to you which room we're in because it'll be all set up. I just wanted to scroll down to this coming week, which is week 4, and point out that this is the tutorial for the portfolio. Please review that. Underneath this, I will put this tutorial, so be sure you're reviewing it all. Now, I want you to be sure that you understand you're going to submit your Toolbox Fair materials and you're going to submit your teaching portfolio. So if you click on this Toolbox Fair materials, this is so I can fairly grade you because it gets kind of hectic and it's hard for me to keep track of everything that was on your table. So you're going to submit to me your one-page handout, the 5 interactive teaching plans with the notation of the example used at the table. So put on it what you put at the table. And then the primary interactive teaching plan, the one that you highlighted or showcased with a notation of the interactive activity accompanying it. I need these materials to be sure that I am grading you fairly and that I've covered everything that you actually had at your table. So that's it. That's the Teaching Strategies Fair table. Again, it starts next Wednesday. You have all this week, beginning tomorrow, which is Wednesday, the 28th of August, to complete your wrap up on your Teaching Strategies portfolio, your Teaching Strategies materials for your fair that you're going to put together. Let me know if you have any questions at all, class. I know that you might, and it'd be so much easier if you just ask me the questions. If you ask and ask the professor, it's kind of good because then other students in the class will have the benefit of your question and the answer. That's it. I will be online all week with you, and we'll be seeing you in person next Wednesday at our Teaching Strategies Fair. I remind you again to please bring some friends or colleagues, especially nurse colleagues, either from practice or academic teachers, to the fair. It is so much more fun if we have an active, engaged audience, so the more that come, the better for you. And one last reminder, the audience who attend will be voting on the best table, and there will be a prize for the best table. So be thinking of that and be striving to win that prize. Take care, class. I'll talk to you soon.